How's it going, everybody? This is Tam Burke here at Dothraki Outdoors. Here to talk to you guys today about a topic I've been thinking about a lot lately, and really not because I want to change anything I do, but because I feel confident in my stance for this, and it's been getting a lot of chatter the last year or two with hunting, and that is, where do you draw the line with technology in hunting? Now, there are levels to this. Of course, the first level would be no technology. You're going into the woods, no mapping app, no trail cameras, just go into the woods, maybe a compass at max. The next level is, regular trail cameras. You check your SD cards, that type of thing. The next level is cellular trail cameras, putting them out in the woods, and also using a mapping app like Onyx, HuntStand, or something else. And the farthest level is, which it's not legal in most states, including mine, is using drones to scout deer. Now here's where I fall with this. To me, the line is using drones for scouting. The reason being is you're not putting any boots with that method. You're not putting any boots on the ground. You're simply scanning for deer in the woods, and if you relatively know the area you're hunting, you're just looking for a way to set up on them. To me, that's over the line for fair chase. That's where I draw the line. Now, some people may say, well, what about cell cameras? Here's what I say about cell cameras. I've been using cell cams the last 3 seasons, and I have never gotten a picture and attempted to immediately run an extra deer. And even if I did, 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't get there in time anyways. Or if I got there in time, I would spook the deer well before I'd even get a glimpse of it. So there's that. And I don't even usually run instant send. I have my cameras all set on once a day send. Main reason being just to save on battery. But the main reason I like cell cameras is not because I'm trying to avoid fair chase or anything. It's simply because, I have a life. I have a wife and son at home. I take part in other extracurricular activities. I fish in a bass league. I fish bass tournaments. I hang out with friends. I have other things I like to do. And don't get me wrong, I put my time in shooting my bow. I put my time in scouting, but I don't want to only do hunting. I know, obviously, guys like the Infall do that. I love that, but I wanna do some experience, some other things in life, quite frankly. And if I'm just using regular trail cameras and I'm having to go out and check, that takes away from it. Or to take a step further, if I'm not running cameras at all and just only doing boots on the ground scouting all year long, that's even worse, time-wise. Now, granted, I could go the other complete opposite route and say, I'm just going to go sit in the woods and not take time or anything. But then that takes away from my chances of being successful. So I don't want to do that either. So the main reason I use cell cameras is simply to save myself time from checking cameras. This time of the year, winter to early spring, that's say January, pretty much January to April we're talking here. I'm covering miles as long as the roads are not frozen over where I can get there, which I'm still waiting on that now, but I can't wait to get back out there and do some of that. And that's what determines where I put my cell cameras. I don't just, throw a dart on a map and go out and say, I'm going to go here, 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 hope I get lucky and get deer on camera. I'm putting them where I see sign of deer and spots that would give me a reason to put a camera. So if you have cameras out and they're in a bad location, guess what? All they're telling you is not to hunt that spot. They're not giving you any intel as to what lives there or any type of pattern those deer might be. So to me, cell cameras are fair chase if used correctly. And quite frankly, 80 to 90% of people I know who use cell cameras are using them in a manner similar to mine. And mostly their reasons are usually because they live very farther away from me than their hunting area, out of state, whatever, and they just want to get that intel. I see no problem with that. Especially when you're putting the time in scouting on private land, you're putting the time in, putting in food plots, creating feeding areas for deer, stuff like that. You're putting in the time by drawing deer to your property. So it's not like you're throwing cameras out in the woods and hoping you get deer. You're putting time in whether you're on private or public land. I still have use for regular SD card cameras. I hunt some properties, both public and private, that don't have cell service. So because of that, I use regular cameras there. I really don't understand the argument for people who say cell cameras are not ethical. As I just explained, I don't think, unless you have a camera on like a food plot in your backyard or something, I don't see any way you're going to be able to get to a deer without spooking them. If you get there on time to begin with, to kill a deer. So and that's even with it on InstaSend. So, and I'm not even using it for instance. I'm just using it to keep track of what's moving through an area. And again, the areas I've scouted and used. Now, for the mapping feature, I do use Onyx hunting, and I will admit, when I first started hunting public land, I did struggle getting around. I got lost in the woods a few times. I'm only 31 years old. I didn't really, I didn't really grow up in public land. I kind of got into public land about 10 years ago. So I'll admit, for a safety purpose, I love, that I can follow a trail that I've trekked in the woods to get in and out. Now, once I've hunted a spot multiple times, I don't have to do that anymore. I pretty much know the way out, whether it's a seismic trail or just a trail in the woods I've taken out, I can get out. But I still like that. Still like being able to mark trees that I want to climb for hunting, where I put my cameras. I like that. I like those improvements in technology. But like I said, where I draw the line personally is using drones if they were ever legal. I never would use them to scout or do any type of hunting. Although I will say I personally have no problem with them being legal for recovering deer. The hang up in Pennsylvania right now is there's people who are trying to monetize it at a very high price. And I believe that's why they're not being legalized at this point for that purpose. But for tracking deer, if it's legal, I have absolutely no problem using it. But for hunting and scouting purposes, to me, that crosses the line of fair chase. So tell me what you think. Do you think drones cross the line of fair chase? Do you think cell cameras cross the line of fair chase? Do you think standard SD cards, cameras, and mapping apps cross the line of fair chase? Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching this Dual Threat Outdoors video. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more Dual Threat Outdoors content.